Hello students, welcome back. In this video, we shall be studying about job evaluation. So first, let us try to understand what we understand by the term job evaluation. So job evaluation is you are trying to assess the worth of a job. How valuable is one job in comparison to another job? So as we see the definition over here, job evaluation refers to the process of assessing the value of each job in relation to the other jobs in the organization. And how do we determine the worth of one job? See, only if we understand which job is more worthful or which job is more valuable, will we be able to understand how much to pay for that job. So, when we are trying to determine the worth, we can determine the worth of a job based on the number of duties that that job requires, the number of responsibilities that goes into that job, the efforts which are required to be put in performing that job, the level of skills that are required for doing the job. All these things, criteria can be used for determining the worth of a job. So ultimately, when you're trying to understand the worth, when you're trying to do the evaluation of the job, normally what procedure is adopted here is, first of all, the a job description will be created. What is a job description? Job description is you're just trying to define what all tasks goes into doing a job. Only if we understand the duties that goes into a job, you will see, okay, job 1 has 4 tasks. Job 2 will be having 10 tasks that are to be performed. Obviously, job 2 is placed at a higher worth compared to job 1. So, based on the job description, the first step, the second step, the job evaluation process, which is actually determining the worth, takes place. And the third step in job evaluation is just a review, just checking whether what you have done is correct or not. Job evaluation can be done by three techniques, which is classified here, which is mentioned over here. The first technique relating to job evaluation is something known as job ranking. Then you have job classification, and finally you have something called as point factor plan. Now we look at the first point here, what we understand by job ranking. Job ranking is nothing but you're placing the job in an order from the most valuable to the least valuable. So you, whatever is the most valuable job, you might probably be placing it at the top. Whatever is the least valuable job, the next valuable job will be the next. The next valuable job will be the third, and the least valuable job will come at the bottom. So in this way, you're ranking the jobs. On what criteria do you rank the jobs? You can just take a general criteria. So, you take a kind of a single factor here, a general criteria, or maybe just a single factor. Based on that single factor, you are placing the jobs in a certain order. So that single factor or that single criteria that you use can either be complexity. Depending on complexity, you can rank the jobs. Or you can see the competitive advantage. Which job is more important for the company compared to the other jobs? So this is again going to be another factor. So for example, if I have to take complexity, a person who is in the assembly line, they have only one work to do, that is assembling the products. A person who's the supervisor, that supervisor might have to do many more jobs, might have to do many more duties. The complexity is much more. One thing is supervise the workers. Another thing is, if the workers work is not proper, guiding the workers, they might actually have to assemble and show the workers how exactly the assembling has to take place, how to operate the machinery, keeping a tab on the absenteeism rate of the workers, making sure that the workers are following discipline. The supervisor may not be in charge of just this one department. They may be in charge of the assembly line of another department also. So complexity is more for a supervisor. From this, what we know while ranking the job, the assembly line worker, their job ranks the lesser compared to a supervisor's role, whose rank is much more because of this complexity. Okay, so based on this single factor or a broad overview, if you just see, you can just rank the jobs. Have a look at the next way in which job evaluation can be done. There is something known as job classification. So a job classification is a predetermined set of duties which might have been established already for certain job classes. So this predetermined set of duties will be established probably mostly by some government agency. It will normally be established. So how do we understand these job classes over here? So normally job classes fall into various levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and it may go on. In India, in case, if you see, when you are determining the pay for the various job classes, it goes up to 18 levels. So it goes up to level 18 according to the 7th Pay Commission. You can even classify the jobs into different grades also, grade A, grade B, grade C, and grade D. So here if you see, for a job class, there will be certain broad descriptions which describe what all duties go into that particular job class. So, for example, grade GS1, if you have to say, grade GS1's job class description for that particular job classes, it includes all those positions whose duties are to be done under strict supervision. It includes all those positions who have to do their work under strict supervision and who cannot make decisions on their own. For any simplest of the decision or for the simplest form of judgment, you have to consult your supervisor. So this is a generic description which is given to this job class. Now we ourselves can decide what all duties in our organization falls under this job class. We put it under that job class. So probably, as I already told you, again an assembly line worker or a worker who's working on the basis of a piece rate system, they have to produce a certain number of units within a certain point of time of a product. They are strictly guided by the guidelines which is given to them by their supervisor. For each of the smallest decisions that they have to make, even in case they want to change the method in which they are doing the assembly of the product, they have to consult their supervisor. They cannot make the decision on their own. So such people will be placed under level 1 or grade GS1. Then you have another job class. I'll give you a description of this job class here. So this job class says that the job class includes all those positions who are serving as the head of an institution or the head of a bureau. It also includes all those positions who have, apart from being the head of a bureau, they have a lot of responsibilities. They have a lot of duties to be performed. It involves a lot of decision making. It involves a lot of mental thinking. It involves guiding other people. All these things are placed. So all the jobs or positions will be placed under this job class. So this can be in case of a level 18 job class or grade GS 18 job class. So for example, whenever you take the role of, let us say, a company's director or the company's CEO, if you just look at the role of a CEO or the role of a company's director, they fit into the position of level 18 or grade GS 18. So this way you are positioning them into this job class. So based on what job class your position enters, if your job class is going to enter the position of level 1 or grade A or grade GS1, you will notice that their pay will be lesser. On the other hand, in case you notice that a job's position is fitting into a job class of grade GS 18 or is fitting into the job class of level 18, in this case, their pay, their package, the salary what you pay to them can be definitely higher. So, according to the Indian government, they can group people into grades like A, B, C, and D also. So, grade A, if you see, when you see number wise, level 1, level 2, if you see, level 1 will be the least and level 18 will be the highest. Or grade GS1 will be the least and grade GS18 will be the highest. But when you see alphabetically, grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D, and all, in case you see, then probably you will notice that the grade D will normally comprise of those people like peons, or it might comprise of people like office boy or the guards or the security personnel. They may come under grade D. The people who might be coming under grade C will include like the clerical staff, the accounts people, okay, typists, stenographers. All these people might come under grade C. Who might come under grade B? Grade B people like junior engineers, the people who are managerial personnel. All these people might come under grade B, and who will come under grade A over here is normally the senior engineers, all the scientists who are working for the defense organizations. All these people will be categorized under grade A. So again here, you can categorize the employees in different grades. So what you have to do is, in your organization, look at one job. See which job class that one job will be fitted to. Accordingly, we can design our pay structure. So a particular job is measured against a job class, a generic job class. What are job classes? They are generic description will be given for each of the classes. And you're comparing the specific job to the generic descriptions, how I had just explained to you about. Finally, there is a third form of job evaluation, something called as a point factor plan. So, point factor plan is similar to this job ranking technique what we saw. In job ranking technique, what did we see? You're seeing a particular criteria. Based on that particular criteria, you're ranking the job from the highest, the most valuable to the least valuable. In a point factor plan also, it works in the same way, but the difference here is you do not use only one criteria, but you use plenty of criteria over here. So those several factors, a variety of factors can be used to determine the worth of a job. Now, what are those several factors here? You can determine the worth of a job by looking at the skill levels that are required for the job. You might determine the worth based on physical effort, based on the mental effort and the mental analytical thinking that you put into it, based on the responsibility and accountability, and based on the working conditions. So, based on these different factors, jobs will be ranked. Now, have a look at this point here. Weights will be assigned to different factors. Just keep a note of this point. See, when you're trying to rank physical effort, the weight for physical effort might be less compared to the weight which is given for skills, or might be less compared to the weight which is given for responsibility. So I will just explain to you this concept in another 2 more slides from now on. So now let's have a look at this concept of physical effort. For example, so I'm trying to do a point factor plan, a technique of job evaluation, and try to understand what points can be awarded to the physical effort for a particular job. So here, if you see an example of physical efforts here, supposing the effort which goes into doing your job, it is a light work that you have to do. You do not have to do much of physical activity into it. It will be awarded 10 points. Now, repetitive or mechanical nature. If the work is kind of repetitive or it is mechanical, such works will normally be awarded 20 points. In case your work is involving continuous standing, continuous walking, there is heavy materials that you have to use, you will have to lift heavy materials, then the rank that you award to this could be 30 points. Now, as I had already told you in the previous slide, the weights that are assigned to the factors will be different for the different factors here. So here we saw a case of physical efforts. Now, have a look at the skill, the level of skill that goes into it, or have a look at the level of the mental efforts that goes into it over here. Skill or mental efforts, we can take it as. So here you notice that it does not involve much of a mental process or thinking will be awarded 10 points. It involves average analytical thinking. If your work involves average analytical thinking, it involves 40 points. This is where weightage comes into the picture. If you see physical efforts here, repetitive work means 20 points. Some similar thing which is related in terms of mental efforts. It comes at the second stage of mental efforts. So the second stage of physical efforts is awarded 20 points, but the second stage of mental efforts is awarded 40 points. From this, we understand that the weightage which is given for mental efforts or the skills that are required might be more than the weightage which is given for physical efforts. So have a look at the third degree to which the mental efforts are put. So while you're assigning the points, various degrees are identified for each of the factors that you're trying to base the rating of the job. So have a look at the third degree of mental efforts. If it involves strong analytical thinking and interpretation of data and computations and calculations, etc., it will be awarded 70 points. On the other hand, when you look at the third degree of physical efforts, when you're looking at the third degree of physical efforts, which is in saying continuous standing, walking, etc., it's awarded only 30 points. From this itself, you see, third degree of mental efforts is awarded 70 points. From this itself, you notice that there is a difference in the weightage which is given for the different factors, depending upon their level of importance, etc. So this is what we as a whole understand by point factor planning. So based on the level of skill, you will be ranking the jobs from best to the least. Based on the level of physical efforts, you will be ranking the job, awarding certain points to the job on the degree of how this factors are coming up. Then based on responsibility and accountability, you're again ranking the jobs depending by awarding points, depending upon the degree to which that factor is featuring. And finally, you have working conditions. So this is the way in which again you will be awarding a job evaluation mechanism. So with this, I have also completed, yes, responsibility and accountability is also there. So with this, I have completed this concept of job evaluation. In our next video, I shall be teaching you people about performance management. Thank you.